Video number 2. First, I want to let you introduce you to my family, my friends, and where I grew up. These are my parents. This is my stepdad Ben and my mother Peggy. Both of them live in Southern California in Dana Point, and they've been there for over 25 years. Dana Point is right in between San Clemente and Laguna Beach. I also lived there for about 20 years before I met my wife. These are my brothers and sisters. This is my sister Kelly, who lives in India. My sister Ann, who lives in Chicago. This is my sister Mary, who lives in Chicago. This is actually from the balcony of my sister's place, Ann. This is my brother Benny holding my little daughter Sophie a long time ago. He died of a heart attack about 7 years ago. Rest in peace, Benny. I grew up in the town of Libertyville. It's in northern Illinois, a very affluent village, about 90% white. And this is the one of the main streets that goes downtown. You can see it's a nice little village. And this is the house where I grew up in. It looks pretty big, but with 4 sisters, 5 kids, and my parents and 2 dogs, it was just right. These are the godparents of my daughter, Sophie. This is Gunkle Britt. We call him Gunkle because he's our gay uncle. And this is Marie Penn, who's been my dearest friend for over 25 years and a very special member of our family. Now this is my wife, Stacy, the woman I met when I was working at the Corinthian colleges. We got married and she changed my life. She changed the path I was on and changed my whole outlook in life. Then we had a daughter born in 2006. This is Sophie. She is the light of my life, the love of my life, and she taught me what it means to truly love someone in your soul. So, when we had Sophie, I quit my job. We were living in Southern California, and we immediately moved to Connecticut. And we lived there for almost 2 years. And then we left there, we moved back to Chicago. We lived there for 3. And now we moved here to Denver. And I think this is where we're going to stay and try to make a difference in people's lives here. So, this is my family, the Hegartys of Denver. So what do I have to do to self-invest and become more effective urban teacher? I have to realize that racism is out there and confront its many forms. I have to realize that one of them is colorblind racism. Ironically, as Cheryl Matias puts it, this was the same training of my K-12 urban white teachers whose colorblind racism, a process of claiming not to see your race, yet acting out racist practices, produced in me these same tears. I was raised by nothing but white teachers in private schools, and color was never brought up. So this quote really hit home for me. Now, The Burden of Teaching Teachers by Williams and Evans Winter. Here's a quote that struck me. Unfortunately, my role as the instructor has become ever more complex in a society that is now teaching students to ignore color and suggests that racism is a thing of the past. The challenge for me as an instructor is to help students acquire knowledge through everyday language about the interrelationship between race, racism, classism, and educational opportunity. Even more important, I have the responsibility of helping students come to understand that a quality education should be considered a right, and that this right has been impeded upon because of everyday notions of race and racism. But I don't want to say teaching is all bad. The academy or school is not paradise, but learning is a place where paradise can be created. The classroom, with all its limitations, remains a location of possibility. In that field of possibility, we have the opportunity to labor for freedom, to demand of ourselves and our comrades an openness of mind and heart that allows us to face reality even as we collectively imagine ways to move beyond boundaries, to transgress. This is education as the practice of freedom. Bell hooks. So, what do I got to do? How am I going to use this knowledge to exact change as a teacher? I think first of all, I'm going to have to get to know my students and understand their frustrations. I'm going to have to realize the realities they face every day and not ignore them. And say, and actually acknowledge race, because acknowledging race is not racism. I want to work with the faculty to enact policies and pedagogies to help all the students and not be part of these statistics that you see here, where within 5 years, 50% of the teachers are going to quit. I'm going to become an activist. I'm going to join groups, join marches, make people aware out there that we need equal rights, and equal rights is not there. Racism exists, it has not gone away. So I think the more active you become, the more you learn about the subject, and the more education on any subject is very good for you and for your teaching. So in conclusion, hopefully after all this, when we get out there and we start teaching, we'll have